Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to do Chapter 8 for White Silk Lovers. Thank you for joining us. And if you happen to hear any background noise, that's just my dog snoring. Let's get started.
Chapter 8, Sunday, April 4th, 10:15 a.m. Coby. Taking a deep breath, I exited the bathroom. There's no way I'm ready for this. Monica sat on a weight bench across from the door, making notes on her notepad. You okay? You ran in there pretty fast. I've never been interviewed before. You kind of scared me, I said. I didn't mean to. She glanced at the screen on my phone. I take it you called a friend? And they're listening in? Do you mind? I asked. She took out her phone and set it to record. Not at all. But you are the interviewee, so only your name goes into the article, not theirs. Okay, I said. You don't have to be nervous. It's pretty informal. The article I'm preparing is for a men's exercise magazine, and it's for their success story column. If accepted, it will first appear online and might show up in their magazine later this year. We'll start simple. Describe your gym routine, be as detailed as you can. The readers love that part. For the next 30 minutes, I listed each day's activities and how it cycled through the week, and how I alternate exercises every other week to keep from being bored. Every so often, someone breathed on the phone, or it clicked as if it were set on a table. Monica wrote my full routine down in her notebook, including variations, and the alternating bi-weekly schedule. Then she asked me about my diet, my opinion of low-carb, keto, vegan, plant-based, high-protein, low-protein, high-fat, low-fat, a little about my history, what I do, basic stuff. As I told her about converting to veganism, someone on the phone said, I could never do that. Then the hard questions. How did you meet Stirling? I've never met him, I said. How did he know you? Monica said. I spoke to one of his crew a couple of nights ago, and then I got an invite. Somebody chuckled on the phone. I know that voice. Jerry, is that you? Is Stirling there as well? Monica, last I heard you were heading to the coast. What are you still doing in Vegas? She lifted her phone. Making a living, same as you. So how are you and Coby connected? You can't leave a story alone. Or not, Jerry said. One of our backup singers took Coby out on a date. That's how we heard about him. Which one? Tomas, I said, being helpful. He helped me out the other night and we started dating. Don't tell him, but I think he's cuter than Stirling and sings just as good. Who's cuter than me? He sings better than me? A voice with a British accent said. Hi, Stirling, Monica said, running a nail along her phone. You're getting old. According to Coby, Tomas is giving you serious competition. I think I went all kinds of pale, then all kinds of pink, and then a bright crimson. The new guy, Stirling said. I don't need this, not today. I'm going to fire him. Mouth wouldn't work. What have I done? Tomas is about to lose his job? I felt like that person in the horror movie that kept running, but the monster was always behind them. Stirling Locke was on my phone. The Stirling Locke. And I had insulted him. Open mouth, insert the whole shoe store. The phone slipped from my hand and thudded on the floor. Stirling Locke was on my phone. Stupid me in my mouth. Leaning against the bathroom door, I stared at the empty workout machines. The most epic moment and epic failure of my life, and no one was here to witness it. Wait until I tell Kelly, or Conrad, or Tomas. Tomas was on the other end of the phone, with Stirling. He heard everything, and I just got him fired. He'll never call me again, maybe block me. I'll never see him again. I'm sorry, Stirling. Please don't fire Tomas. It's all my fault. He had nothing to do with anything. And thank you for the other night. It was really nice, but please don't fire Tomas. Whoever was on the other end started laughing. Monica too. I looked at my phone, at her, then at my phone again. "You're really dating Tomas?" Monica whispered. I shrugged my shoulders and whispered back. We sang a duet together. "You still there, Coby?" It was Tomas. I cringed. "I am. I'm sorry I got you fired." "You didn't get me fired. I've been around Stirling so long I can talk like him." His voice switched to Stirling's voice. "Did I fool you?" I almost wilted. "Don't you ever do that again." "Tomas, you sound just like him," Monica said, "and I've talked to Stirling a few times." Tomas laughed. "It's one of my many talents. I've got to go. The real Stirling is ready for practice. Call me tonight, Coby?" "I will. Thanks for the help." Once Tomas hung up, I picked the phone up off the floor. "You and Tomas?" Monica said. "He's a backup singer?" "That's why I called for help. I was afraid I'd get him in trouble if I said too much." Monica slid over on the bench, gesturing for me to sit. "I wish you luck. If you think of anything else that might be important for the article, here's my card and number. Or talk to Jerry. He's got it as well." "Can you leave Tomas out?" I said. "You don't need to worry," Monica said, chuckling. "I won't include anything personal. These readers are more interested in how you got in shape and how they can copy it, not in your love life." After the interview, I finished up at the gym, went grocery shopping, and finally went back home. A one-room studio apartment that used to be a one-car garage. It has enough room for a bed, a couch, a small table, a closet, and a couple of chairs. My used keyboard and headphones sit on the table ready for me to practice. Utilities were low, rent was low, and, best of all, it was close to the bus routes. Pulling my laptop out, I opened up the essays I had been working on and finished them. Then, the fun stuff. I'm a music major, specializing in voice and piano. I've trained on my own since middle school, but no matter how good I got, there weren't many parts available for fat kids. It didn't stop me from trying and training, and dreaming. In my music composition class, we had to research a classical composer and write a 5-page biography about them. Musical composition, and we have to write a biography. I still didn't understand that one. But it got worse. We all had randomly assigned composers. Mine, Marin Moret. Dr. Garnier hated me. 2 hours of research, and I had 5 little paragraphs and 15 websites to cull over. What I've written would barely cover a paper airplane. Dr. Garnier wanted it submitted 2 ways, a paper copy and emailed, because she had a graduate student run the paper through the copyright software and check for plagiarism. In addition to all my other issues, college has made me paranoid. This paper is taking forever. Dr. Garnier wanted 5 pages total. How can I pad 1 page into 5 pages? Composition class, classical composer. I could write about their compositions. If nothing else, it will help fill a couple of pages. An hour later, and it's half done, and I need a break. Ever since the other night when I helped Tomas with his song, I've been working on one of my own. If I closed my eyes, I could hear a piece of the melody I wanted, but capturing it on paper was impossible. There are words as well. I wrote those, but they don't fit the ideas in my head. Or is it the other way around? My ideas don't fit on the paper. Take my hand, pull me out of my life. That has too many syllables for the melody I'm envisioning. Take my hand, save my life. Too few syllables. Take my hand, love, lift me up. Take my hand, da-da-da-da. How does Tomas make it look so easy? I wrote the ideas down, ripped them apart as carefully as I could, then rearranged them to form a chorus I like. I typed it up. I worked on the first verse, building a story, then a simple refrain at the end of each verse, right before the chorus. My ideas have too many syllables to fit the melody. I write it anyway. After an hour, I have a very unprofessional, amateurish, rough draft. Title? That took me a minute. I choose a phrase from the chorus. Take my hand. Tomas would laugh. It's so bad, but I'm proud of it. My first song with a melody, if you can call it that. I took a break from my break and opened the file I've made from Wednesday. That song is smooth, it's nice, and every line is poetry. Tomas wrote that, sang it. It was magic. Clean-cut, dark-haired Tomas should have been the star, not bad boy Stirling with his white hair and tattoos and attitude. With a quick label, I sent the file to Tomas. I'll ask him about it later. I've procrastinated long enough. I read through what I've written, then listened to some of the works by m4m on YouTube and analyzed them. It's just like how Tomas and I worked the other night, but without Tomas. What would he say? I imagined him sitting next to me, and we critiqued the songs. I explained what worked for me and why, then what doesn't work and why. Somehow, I find a zone, and time passes. My 5 paragraphs turn into 2 pages, then 4, and when Tomas called, it's 6. Dr. Garnier won't like this, but it isn't copied. It's not a biography either. Well, the first page is. No concert tonight? I asked. Tomas yawned. He laid on his bed wearing an old t-shirt, his phone propped up on a pillow. It's tomorrow. I'm so tired. Tell me what you're working on. I told him about the biography and read him a part. It sounds like your professor is pulling a fast one. He's telling you the assignment, but he's looking for something different, Tomas said. She, actually. Like what? I asked. Tomas propped his head on his hand and adjusted the phone. I can only tell you what I would do, and it might be completely wrong. What would you do? Choose one of his pieces, anyone at random, and discuss why m4m didn't make it big like Bach or Mozart, and what would he have to do to make that song marketable? What would it take to make it a hit now? Lyrics, a beat, faster tempo, an agent? You asked what I would write, Tomas said, with another yawn. I leaned on the bed, holding the phone up. Did you get the file I sent? I did, and we remembered it about the same. Tomas pulled his laptop into view. I think we agreed that the first verse worked, but the second is a little rough. Do you have a copy there? I think we need to completely alter the second verse. Maybe reword it entirely. Prying myself from the bed, I went back to the laptop, shifted my song to the back, and brought his song forward. For 30 minutes, we tossed about ideas, and then I typed them in place of the others. It flowed better. I'll send it. A quick send, and I went to my kitchen to put something in the microwave. When I came back, Tomas had an odd look on his face, brows creasing, lips pursed. He was reading something. Probably the new chorus and the changes we had made to the second and third verses. Walking back to the fridge, I got a glass and filled it with ice and water and brought a package of baby carrots with me. When I came back, he had a pen in his hand and was tapping a rhythm on his bed. I like how you've set up the last line in each verse to repeat the previous line. It works, Tomas said. But the amount of syllables in the chorus doesn't fit the number of beats. It rushes through them and feels like something is missing. Are you sure about the melody? What do you mean? I asked. Tomas typed a moment. If you look at the third line of the chorus, as an example, instead of going da-da, 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 which is what I think you want, it becomes an uneven da-da-da-da, da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da, da. You have 11 syllables where you're trying to fit 8. If you tried a couple of word swaps. Looking over the chorus, I didn't see the problem. I guess I'm not seeing what you're seeing. He tapped on the bed again. No matter how I tap it out, it doesn't fit. Oh no, I didn't. I couldn't have. What file did I send you? It's a song you've been working on, Tomas said. Take my hand. Crap. I wasn't ever going to show you that, I said. It's so bad. Glancing up at me, Tomas smiled and tapped the pen against the bed. It needs a little work, but it's not bad. Really? I said. You helped me with mine. It's only fair I help you with yours. He pulled a portable keyboard over and played with the melody line a little. What would you think of changing this part from a half note to a whole note with a rest after it? For the next hour we hummed music, found words, and, before my eyes, Tomas worked magic on my song. How did Tomas make my little song into something nice? Another question. When had the microwave dinged? And when had it gotten dark outside? Tomas yawned so wide I could see the fillings in his teeth. I've got to go, or you'll be watching me sleep again. Before you go, I asked, Can I put your name on the song since you helped so much with it? Only if I can add yours to mine, Tomas said. Whose name goes first? I asked. Easy. Your song, you get top billing. My song, I do. If it's equal, we flip a coin. Tomas said. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Having to re-nuke dinner, I ate it and typed the new ideas I was having on Marin Marais. 10-page biography that was only 1-page biography, 5 pages on composition, and 4 pages on translating his work into the modern era. I would get a C for this paper, that's for sure. Instead of going to bed, I pulled out a blank page of sheet music and played around with the melody of one of Marais' pieces, and how I would change it. Of course, it had a Stirling dance beat. Once finished, I transposed it to a music file, then attached it to the novel I had written. Humming the song Tomas and I had worked on, my song, I emailed the file to the professor and went to bed. Sorry, Stirling. I think I love Tomas more.